Morning.
Morning. This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, Elvis.
Elvis is leaving the building.
Hang on.
Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Can we make it a rule to take our tablets before we come on the Zubi?
I like your shirt, Chris.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It is autograph.
1960s one.
It's a 1971, but that was a
Is
very
it
good.
as late as that?
It's a 1971, and it is autographed by the whole team of 71.
Oh,
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Fantastic. This is a day to wear it.
Yeah.
Why is that? Chris?
It's my homage to Gary Lineker and his accuracy. Well, welcome to Turf Moor.
yes.
Wow. Anyone see that?
Yeah.
Wow. And Jack Charlton was our manager.
Well, at least he didn't call us Sheffield Wednesday this time.
He's made
Somebody
a few
did.
Made a
One
fool
of
of
them
himself
did.
again because he has the knowledge to correct the script if there's an error.
Yeah.
That's the error. Correct it and carry on. But yeah, who cares?
Yeah, but
Who
unfortunately,
cares?
one of the commentators did call us Sheffield Wednesday as well.
When in that
Yes, on Sunday.
We're not that bad, are we?
wow,
No,
we're really down in the
Oh,
dumps
you're
now,
gonna
aren't we?
tip. Well, I thought you must have been playing well.
We were very good on Sunday. But anyway,
right. So shall we get matters underway, John? We'll start with you, please.
Well, there's no real news, but it was Brian's birthday yesterday, I believe, Brian.
Yeah, and officially a pensioner.
Did you have a good day?
Yeah, it was lovely, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't send you a birthday card, Brian.
top stuff, Brian.
Well, it was noticeable by its absence. So,
Yellow card for you, Mr. Furman.
I know.
A red
Maybe a
card.
red card off
I was
Brian.
saying, would it be red or
Wait.
yellow?
when you get tripped up in Crystal Peaks, Keith, and somebody's running in the distance, it'll
Yeah.
probably be me.
Look at me.
Hey, Brian only deals in red cards.
Yeah. Yeah, don't hang about. They're going to get there
No.
eventually, so you might as well start where you're going to finish.
So whilst there's no real news, I'm enjoying reading this book
Oh, magnificent.
by
Fantastic.
Mr. Strange.
Thank you, John.
Talking about reds and yellows, I'm just reading about Keith Ouchin having picked up 15 yellow cards in Scotland in about 5 minutes. When he'd only picked up 5 yellow cards in
In
England
his
in
entire
about
career
10
before
years.
that, yeah.
Yes, but I did come across reading about the cup final. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but there was a repeat showing of the 87 cup final recently. What amazed me about that was how much Chris Waddle was running about. I thought Chris Waddle, obviously I'm biased, and I was really pleased at the time that Coventry had won, but Chris Waddle was running all over Shant. Anyway, there's a on page 146, there's a article by David Miller in the Times. I'll just read it so briefly, if you don't mind. Clive Allen's headed goal after 2 minutes of Saturday's FA Cup final had all the authoritative finality of a wheel clamp. It was as though Coventry had no right to apart themselves upon Wembley's lovely pitch. Although Waddle was sending them in more false directions than a Le Carre double agent, they grimly clung to the ledge, at times by fingertips, before gaining a platform from which Bennett, Regis, Houchin and others would lead them to an historic summit. Hoddle, in what is said to be his last appearance for Tottenham, for much of the match was a lonely, broken-down motorist tramping the hard shoulder. Great artists are not required to have physical bravery, but they should have inner fire. Hoddle had none. The embarrassment inflicted upon Downs by Waddle was enough to have had him asking for emigration papers. Yet by the finish, this former Norwich fullback had grown in presence and composure. Houchin, a repertory centre forward from the league's anonymous fringes of Hartlepool, York and Scunthorpe, finally reaching the West End, made a greater impact on a cup final than any little-known player since Trebleco and Everton reserve sank Sheffield Wednesday 21 years ago. You understand why
I've never
that
heard of since.
article had particular resonance for me. Much as you enjoyed that cup final, Jonathan, 1966 was, I was going to say, my nadir, but no, I've had more nadirs than any nadir since then.
Haven't we
That
all?
reference to Trebleco in '66 really did it for me. I thoroughly enjoyed the book, Jonathan. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Thanks, John.
Yeah, well done, John.
Trebleco was never heard of since.
Pardon?
Trebleco has never been heard of since.
He said he
No,
went to
That's
Plymouth.
all he ever did.
After that.
He went
I've got
back to Plymouth, yeah, where he came from.
I've got a statue in the back garden to him.
How pleased we were that Fred Pickering wasn't playing. Yeah. Anyway, onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
The best
Don't
thing,
dwell in the,
best
don't dwell
thing
in the past, John. It doesn't do any good at all, mate.
the best thing that came
We're all
out of
dwelling
that.
in the past.
It's the only thing Wednesdayites can do, dwell in the past.
No, move forward, move forward.
Yeah, Ian's trying to say something. Yeah.
I don't know what's happened with my mic and just not cutting in, but the best thing that came out of that cup final, John, was a box of chocolate that was 7 tiers high. All the ladies that attended the Everton group that went in the
66,
director's box,
Mm.
they were presented with a box of chocolates. How my
Right.
mum got one, God only knows, because she's a
Really?
Liverpool supporter.
Yeah.
Got this box of chocolate. It lasted through to September.
Never.
I was
Never.
working at it, I promise you, but it was that.
Was
You're
it?
working very hard, mate.
Is that because they were chewy? Because they were toffees?
Yeah.
Very good.
Very
Very
Got to
good.
be a connection there somehow, Chris, but all
Caramel.
the directors' ladies or their guests got this box of chocolates. And when
Life is like a box of
final, when Dad
chocolates.
came home with this box of chocolates, I thought, oh, results, you know.
Just because the lady likes milk tray.
Well, I'm glad you got something from that game, Ian, wasn't
Did you get over your disappointment, Ian, with the box of chocolates?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Enough Wednesday bashing for now.
For now.
It's only Tuesday. Yeah.
Only for now. So we'll move swiftly on to LOL's News of the Week.
News of the week.
News of the week. News of the week.
You're like
No,
an
do you
Eric
think
Mock.
you could, in future, you could have, when you're speaking, could you have those things scrolling across your screen like they do outside? It just doesn't look the same without, interrupts.
You'll supply the technology, Ian. I'll do it.
Right. Third comment.
It's like Eric Morecambe's news. It's all the items are there, but not necessarily in the right order. But
Very good.
we'll see how we go.
Looking at Morecambe.
Aye.
Yes, yeah.
Right. We'll start with swimming for a change.
I'd rather go
British-
swimming with women.
The British Olympic champion.
Pardon?
Tarzan. Swimming. Tarzan.
Spit it out, lol. Come on, son. You can do it.
Give me a chance and I will do.
Yeah, team got started on first one, yeah.
For an hour and a half. The British Olympic champion Adam Peaty secured his fourth successive European 100 metres breaststroke title with a commanding performance in Budapest. Peaty finished in 57.66 seconds to take victory at the European Aquatics Championships ahead of second-placed Dutchman Arno Kaminga, with Britain's James Wilby coming third. Now, Peaty followed this up by winning golds in the 50 metres breaststroke, the mixed 4x100 medley relay, and finally the men's 4x100 medley relay. So he had a really good performance last week, did Peaty. We're going to boxing now. This
Can
is
I ask a question before you go on?
Go on.
Can I ask, does anybody know if this
mixed relay is going to be in the Olympics?
No.
I don't think it
No,
is.
you're all
What
baffled as me when I first saw it.
what Olympics?
Yeah.
The mixed relays in athletics.
Yeah, good question.
Really?
Yeah, it's mixed relays in athletics.
No, the mixed relay that they had. Two men, two women each.
Yeah, I think I saw
Anyway,
something
carry
that
on,
said,
Yeah,
said it
carry
was a non Olympic event. I think.
Paul.
Wednesday
Paul,
had a
I
mixed
thought
team in championship last season.
Lol,
Paul, it's not the mixed relay. It's the chase me 400 meters.
was Peter's success a quadruple?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
It is. You're right there.
Wow.
Now we'll nip onto the saga of boxing with Tyson Fury. He will not now face Anthony Joshua in his next fight after Deontay Wilder requested £14 million to step aside and allow the world British heavyweight fight to go ahead. Fury agreed to face Joshua in a highly anticipated fight in August, but Wilder's team forced an arbitration meeting, which concluded he had a contractual right to face Fury for a third time by the 15th of September. After being asked for the £14 million to move over, Fury said, "Looks like I will have to crack his skull open again." So no love lost there. Now,
I told you it wouldn't happen.
You did, mate.
You did. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
What happened to gentleman Jim Corbett?
Now this started a media spat, and Anthony Joshua called Tyson Fury a fraud in a furious media exchange after the news that their fight might be off. "You've let boxing down. You lied to the fans. You led them on. You used my name for clout, not a fight," tweeted Joshua. In response, Fury has challenged Joshua to a bare knuckle fight.
Open your mouth.
Outside the Manor Hotel next Saturday.
Behind the bike
when
sheds.
they used to meet up after their fight and they used to have a beer together and the best of pals.
It's what sport's all about, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's the true meaning of sport, you know.
Now, after
It's
looking
incredible.
After looking set to fight Joshua in Saudi Arabia, WBC World Heavyweight Champion Fury has now signed his contract to face Wilder on the 24th of July. The all-British heavyweight fight fell through when Wilder's team won the arbitration hearing to have the right to fight. Now, Fury attended Josh Taylor's win over Jose Marías in Las Vegas on Saturday, and that's where he signed his fight contract. Now, Joshua, he's been ordered to defend his WBO heavyweight title against mandatory challenger, Ukrainian 34-year-old Alexander Usyk, after the collapse of his bout with Fury. BBC Radio 5 Live's Steve Bunce, the boxing expert, he now fears that the world heavyweight title fight between Joshua and Fury might not happen until 2023. Now, talking about
Not happened at all.
Yep. Now, talking about Josh Taylor, he delivered a titanic performance to become Britain's first undisputed world champion in the four-belt era by defeating Jose Marías by unanimous decision in an enthralling light welterweight unification bout. The 30-year-old Scot, who is undefeated in 18 bouts after inflicting American Ramirez with his first loss, is just the fifth man in boxing to hold all four belts in a division. Did somebody pipe up then?
No, I just, when you said it was a titanic performance, I wondered if it sunk.
Yeah.
Oh, don't sink to Keith level, please. Now then, where are we now? Like I say, a bit like the Eric Morecambe show, this. Now we've got nip onto cricket. It's been on cricket. Now, the Australian bowlers who played in the sandpaper test have denied knowing about the plan to tamper with the ball. Batsman Cameron Bancroft, he suggested that some bowlers knew about the plot to use sandpaper against South Africa in Cape Town in 2018. Bancroft, Steve Smith and David Warner were banned following the incident. And a joint statement from fellow players Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, Mitchell Stark and Nathan Lyon have said, we respectfully request an end to the rumour mongering and innuendo in bowl.
Yeah, it'd end if they just bloody owned up.
Exactly.
It would have ended if Cricket Australia had done a proper investigation.
Yeah.
It's just not possible for the bowlers not to know.
No.
Absolutely impossible.
Impossible.
They didn't know. Now tell us another fairy story.
Yeah.
And the coach didn't know either. There is no. I have to totally agree with what Paul's just said. There is no cricket match at any level where the bowler doesn't understand the condition of the ball or how the ball is passed to him. And clearly, they're all implicated by Bancroft's recent faux pas. It's probably too thick to understand what he said, but he's put them all in the cart again, and it won't go away. This did they win the Ashes doing this? I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
What was it? What was his faux pas?
Well, I think in the interview he was just tricked into sort of saying self-explanatory. I think the word he used to talk about the bowlers knowing what was going on. Of course they knew. The bowlers tell you what they want. It's very sad. It's very sad for the game. It should have been dealt with properly, straight away. And it's a stain on the game, which I love, and I find it quite distasteful. Really, I'm not an Aussie basher. I just find the whole thing really.
But you raised a good point, Chris. Could it just be that we're a little more sensitive about our cricket than the Aussies? Aussie just want to win.
Oh, well, that was the culture that actually got them into trouble. That was the actual culture that got Smith and Warner into the hot water in the first place.
Hang on, the chairman wants to.
Chairman here, chairman coming in.
Before we all get holier than thou, let me just mention.
No, that was one. I know what you're going to say.
Our father.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Michael Atherton.
Come on, Uncle Keith.
Go on, Keith. Tell us.
Come on, Uncle Keith.
Just Michael Atherton.
Yeah, but that wasn't systematic team cheating.
That was an oversight.
That was a man. That was a man. That was a man doing something wrong for which he got found out. But he didn't ask the junior member of the team to go and alter the ball when the cameras were supposedly not watching. It's a different thing. It's a different thing.
Nothing more than involuntary twitch. That's all that was.
No, he cheated. No, he did cheat.
Right.
Smith should never be back as captain.
Should not be playing.
No, well,
I don't think he should ever have been back as a player.
yeah.
I don't know, Chris. I understand the moral issue, but he's a blooming good batsman.
Is he?
Oh, I think he is.
I'd rather watch
couple
some
of
juniors.
He's had a cracking. He's
Anyway.
got odd idiosyncrasies, but he's a good batsman.
Anyway, he's good at scratching other people's guards out as well. So let's move on.
Oh, he'll scratch anything,
We'll move on.
We'll move on.
Keeping on with cricket then.
Sorry, Ian, I wasn't trying to be rude to you. Sorry.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Carry on, Lol.
Everybody else is.
We'll see you outside.
Ah, thank you, Lol.
Yeah.
On your bike.
Come here, Smith. Let me deal with you.
Lol, the dogs take to your voice. As soon as they hear you on Zoom, they come up. They want to. Who's that? You know.
The dog gnashing the teeth.
Aren't you?
Well, they went to interrupt as well.
Keeping on with cricket then. Now, England fast bowler Jofra Archer had surgery on his troublesome right elbow last Friday. He had an injection for a long-standing problem in March and has played only 2 matches since then, and he only managed 5 overs in the second of those. As yet, there is no time frame in his recovery in a year that includes the 2020 World Cup and the Ashes series in Australia.
Let's hope the surgeon knows his arse from his elbow.
Oh, nice one.
Well, if he does his arse, he'll perhaps get more runs.
A little bit about the county championship.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, come on, come
Tell us
on.
about it, Lol.
Tell us, lol. Come on, lol.
You've got to wait a little bit, Chris, for yours.
Oh, I've got my notes here on knots. Come on, get to it quick.
An amazing onslaught from veteran Kent all-rounder Darren Stevens put his team in a good position in the draw match against Glamorgan. The 45-year-old smashed a remarkable 190, hitting 15 fours and 15 sixes to take Kent from 128 for 8 to 307 all out at wind-battered Canterbury. Now, what makes this remarkable is that Miguel Cummings, his partner in that partnership, contributed just a single in their 9th wicket stand of 166. Prior to his 190, Stevens had only scored 15 runs in his previous 6 innings. That must have been something like that.
It's the highest stand where one man has got over 90% of the runs in the highest stand.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary. And
The 9th wicket as well.
Yeah.
The 9th wicket as well. But doesn't it show you the glory of proper cricket in that a man is a hero if he gets one not out? Like,
Yes.
you know, like, you know, and that's playing for your partner, and that's the result. It's an amazing game.
And his age, Chris, as well, his age, 45.
Well, I'm playing on Saturday, so bloody hell, you know, I know where you're coming from on that one. I won't be able to move next Tuesday. But seriously, it is an amazing performance. And I have seen Darren Stevens play a few times when I could. And by the way, he opened the bowling. He opened the bowling in this game after he'd done that and got a wicket.
Yeah. And
It's absolutely phenomenal.
And since he's turned 30 or something, turned 40, he's got 35 for us. You know, he just keeps taking 5 wickets and then it's just unbelievable.
Get him in the England team. That's what I say.
Get him in the England team.
Yeah. Stokes isn't fit. Get another all-rounder in.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm really pleased that you mentioned it because it's so easy for it to go under the radar. County cricket doesn't count. It's never on the news. So thank you for mentioning it.
There was none of that mentioned anywhere. I only read it. I've seen it on the CPACs.
I turned on Yorkshire television last week. Yorkshire were playing at home and Yorkshire scores weren't even on. It doesn't count. It's not a sport anymore in the media. It's very sad.
I was at the Oval that afternoon and Surrey were 135 for no wicket. And then they were 142 for 6. And 6 wickets in 7 runs was the best spell Surrey have ever had in a championship match since 1903, taking 6 wickets for 7 runs.
Yeah. You were there, Jonathan?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
you went.
Shivering to death, and eventually driven out by the rain. But I'm glad I saw that. And
you look very well for a dead man.
Right.
Get on with the next bit.
Come on,
Can you
Lol.
put Chris on mute now, please?
Oh, come on, Lol. Let me have a go. Come on, Lol.
The Notts took 14 wickets on the final day to complete a remarkable victory in the county championship against Worcester by an innings and 170 runs. Luke Fletcher's career best 7 for 37 helped skittle the pairs out for 80 in their first innings. After they resumed on Sunday at 53 for 6 after a washout on the Saturday. Following on 320 behind, Worcester were bowled out for 150 second time around, with Fletcher taking 3 for 20 to finish with 10 wickets in the match. Notts are now top of Group 1.
Yeah. and Worcester's total 2 scores were overtaken by 1 from Duckett and 1 from Lyndon James. They scored 250 odd, and Worcester only scored 230 in both innings. Hey.
Can I say, for the record, that was Notts' third consecutive win in the county championship, having gone 130 odd days of not winning at all. Yeah. So they're a bit like a bus, you know. Keep waiting. I did go. I did say I'd give you a quick report. I did go on the first day. At 38 for 1, I left, because it was pouring down with rain and my fingers turned blue. So I didn't see any of the good stuff. I didn't even think that a result was possible. Yeah. So it just shows you, you know, have faith. Yeah. COVID-wise, I thought Trent Bridge did it as well as they possibly could, from car parking to entry to stewarding. The one thing that really made me smile was when it started to rain, all the people in the COVID sensitive seating blocks, right, got up, went to the back of the stand and all stood together. and because it was raining, all of the stewards had gone. So 8.5 out of 10 for Notts' effort. Seriously, they did very well, but the minute it rains, I mean, you know.
Now tell us how many were there. 3.
I would say that when I left, rain stopped playing. It looked, well, it was shocking. Yeah. I would say there was about 1,000 people probably in the ground. Probably.
That's more than very often you see there.
Yeah.
I think people had made the effort. They knew that it was going to rain, but they just wanted to get out and get a match, and a bit like Jonathan going to see, you know, sort of. It's a bit very similar. So it was nice to get in the fresh air. It took me 2 days to thaw out with the central heating on.
I went to Lord's on Saturday for the first time this season. It was the first time they've had public cricket there since the year before last. And Eton were playing Harrow. Harrow went in and they were 161 all out. And the joint top scorer was Wides with 46. There were 46 wides.
What?
How many?
46 wides out of 161, yeah. I think the Eton boys were trying too hard and, you know, a bit nervous. And
were they real wides then, Jonathan? You know, they were wides.
Oh, yes,
you know,
most of them were. They weren't just sort of technical wides. Some of them were boundary wides, yeah.
Are they still playing in top hats? Tails.
Sorry?
Were they still playing in top hats?
I wanted to see. I tell you something. The announcer said, he came on very pompously, and he said, I want people to understand in the ground that to understand the ground regulations, there must be no shouting, there must be no singing and no chanting, because the Eton boys in the crowd and the Harrow boys were shouting as if at a football match. It was really quite funny.
Yeah. You can't sit there enjoying yourself. That's
right.
Crack on.
No, we'll put a little bit on athletics now. Now, Lee Evans, not the comedian, a two-time Olympic gold medalist and former 400 metres world record holder, has died at the age of 74 after suffering a stroke earlier this month. Now, the American was the first man to break the 44-second mark in the 400 metres when he claimed gold at the 1968 Mexico Games. He also won gold in the 4x400 relay race at the same Games and wore a black beret in solidarity with his teammates who were removed from the tournament after their Black Power salute on the podium. Now, this last weekend, 21 ultramarathon runners have died after extreme weather struck a long-distance race in northwest China. High winds and freezing rain hit participants in the 100-kilometre race by ultramarathon in the Yellow River Stone Forest, a tourist site in the Gansu province on Saturday. The race was halted when some of the 172 runners went missing and a rescue operation was launched. Many of the stranded runners reportedly suffered from hypothermia. Had you heard of that race, Paul, the marathon runner?
I'd not heard of the race, but I know that some of the people that died were actually elite runners.
That's right, yeah.
They weren't mugs, these people. Yeah, something terrible happened there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right, keeping on with athletics. Now, ex-European and Commonwealth marathon champion Ron Hill has died aged 82. Now, Hill represented Britain
Didn't read that.
marathon at the 1964 Olympics in Tokyo and at Munich in 1972. In 1970, he became the first Briton to win the Boston Marathon, breaking the course record, and he won Commonwealth gold the same year in a time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, 28 seconds. Now, Hill also ran at least a mile every single day for 52 years and 39 days before ending his streak when he was 78 years old.
Yeah.
He was some runner.
And I know somebody who knew Ron Hill very well. Somebody I used to work with, he ran in the Olympics in the marathon as well. He used to laugh at that Ron Hill 1 mile a day thing. He says, I know for a fact that one day his mile consisted of running around an airport terminal. He says, but the other one that I do know about, he actually ran a mile on a jumbo jet. He thought it was just a joke. Yeah. He said he ran up and down the jumbo jet, up one aisle and down the other.
The pilot was having absolute fits, trimming the aircraft every time.
No, it was very light.
It was a good era of Don Thompson, and who used to do the walking and the rest of it. We were quite good in the marathon and long distance walking in those days, weren't we?
Yeah.
David Bedford, was he the one in bare feet?
David Bedford.
All above.
Jim Peters before that.
Yeah.
Right.
Gordon Perry, sorry.
Gordon Perry.
Gordon Perry.
Gordon Perry, yeah.
From the past.
David Bedford went to school with Tony Curry.
Joyce Stewart, another good old name from the past. My mother. What you started?
A little bit on golf. Now, Phil Mickelson became the oldest man to win a major title when he won the USA PGA Championship by 2 strokes at Kiowa Island. The 50-year-old clinched his 6th major title 8 years after his last one, when he finished on 6 under par on the Ocean course. In his first 5 major wins, his caddy was Jim Bones McKay. But this latest win saw his brother Tim carrying the bag. Now then, where are we now?
Age again.
Jim
Bones.
You
can't beat a good Oldham.
You can't, can you?
No.
Now let's put on snooker. Now the British Open will return to the World Snooker Tour for the first time in 17 years this August. The event, part of the tour from 1985 to 2004, was last staged in Brighton when John Higgins won. It will be the second world ranking event of the 2021-22 season and will run from the 16th to the 22nd of August. The tour chairman, Steve Dawson, said, "We are delighted to bring back the British Open, which has a fantastic history." Now, a little bit on Speedway. Now, after losing the opening fixture of the new season away to the Bellevue Aces, Sheffield Tigers were due to hold their first meeting at Alderton Stadium last Thursday since October 2019, after last season was cancelled due to the COVID pandemic. After a successful season in 2019, when they got promoted back to the top flight, they were set for a first Premiership meeting for 33 years against Peterborough Panthers. But unfortunately, heavy rain led to the fixture being postponed. Now, the wait for their first home Premiership fixture goes on, and it is now due to be held on Thursday, the 3rd of June, against Wolverhampton Wolves. Now, I've mentioned Sheffield Tigers, that's what they're known as. But in 1950, they weren't known as Sheffield Tigers. They were known as something else just for that 1 year. Does anybody know what it was?
Steelers? And Cyril.
Where's Cyril when you want him?
They were known as the Tars. T-A-R-S, the Tars. No
Why?
idea why.
You've no idea why?
No,
Who's
what
your
you find
research
out.
team?
Formula One. Now, Charles Leclerc, he took a surprise pole position for Ferrari at the Monaco Grand Prix, despite crashing on his last run of qualifying. Unfortunately for him, his car broke down before the start of the race. He took no part in it. In the race itself, Red Bull's Max Verstappen took a dominant victory in the Grand Prix to wrestle the championship lead from Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton, who finished in 7th place, frustrated and angry after Mercedes' pre-race plans fell apart. He lost places to 2 drivers over the pit stop period as Mercedes reversed their pre-race plans.
Yeah, but that was a consequence of the car although it was faster in long straights, it couldn't handle the Monaco circuit, and they couldn't set it up right. If you watch them during the qualifying, they're really struggling. And with Hamilton, he just tried and tried and tried, and he overcooked it. So he only got 7th position on the grid, 6th after that chap dropped out. And Bottas, I think they managed to set the car up during qualifying, but he had his own problems. So I don't think the car was suited to the circuit, lol. That's the main problem.
Right, we're on to football now.
Right, that was a good interrupt, wasn't it? Yeah.
Caused a lot of comment,
Oh,
didn't it?
sorry, I should have muted. Sorry.
Moving on, Ian. Moving on.
How interesting.
Right.
You like
former
one, don't you, boys?
Former Manchester United teammates Eric Cantona and Roy Keane have been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. They join Alan Shearer and Thierry Henry, who were the first players to be inducted last month. Cantona joined Sir Alex Ferguson's side from Leeds in 1992.
Excuse
Where?
me.
For Premier League
Where from?
titles in-
Where from?
Hang on, hang
Where
on.
from?
Hang on, dirty Leeds.
Thank you.
In fact, they won 4 Premier League titles in 5 seasons. I am very happy and very proud, but at the same time, I am not surprised, said the 54-year-old Frenchman.
Honest as ever.
Is it sponsored by that Crystal Palace fan that he maimed with that scissors kick?
Yeah.
Everyone conveniently forget things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want me to carry on second half, Keith?
Yes, we'll
And then,
we'll
and then,
we'll
and then
wrap
Chris
it
can.
up. Yeah, we're less than a minute, so we'll wrap up the football at the start of the next meeting, and then Chris will do a little bit about Mr. Badger.
Okay then.
All right. See you in 5.